What is going on, everybody? Josh here, Old School Cards podcast episode number 12. And this is the first one I'm actually recording the video. So, found you guys a little intro song for the podcast. Hope you like it.
Welcome to the show. Old School Cards with a new episode. Sit back, relax, and enjoy as Josh drops the knowledge he's gathered and ready to deploy. Hope you're ready for Blue Liner of the Week. And if it's sports card content that you seek, you're in the right place. Card talk is coming at a breakneck pace. It's the go-to for weekly vintage hobby and hockey talk. He's a teacher, a coach, and a sports card collector. Old School Cards, it's time for your hobby lecture. Old School Cards, it's time for your hobby lecture. Old School Cards, it's time for your hobby lecture. Hobby lecture.
All right. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I had fun making it. Thanks to Suno for AI music technology. Give them the words, they create a song. If you can't tell, I'm in my 40s. I like alternative rock and country music, so that's what I came up with. I hope you guys liked it. And we're going to get right into it. So it's Old School Cards, episode 12. And here's the show lineup. The first thing I'm going to talk about, number one, is just some hobby market thoughts and what are some of our responsibilities. And then number two, we're going to go right into some 600 goal scorer history. So I really enjoyed doing the research on that last time, so I found some cool stuff to share this time. And then we're going to move into our thing that I really enjoy doing is the Blue Liner of the Week. And I added a new thing in this week called the Milestone Marker. It's where I take a look at a significant milestone in the sport of hockey. And it happened in the last week. Or, well, no, this one happened in the last couple weeks. But I wanted to talk about it, touch on it, and move on from there. And number 5 on the lineup is a little thing that I started calling Chasing Greatness, and it's the Ovechkin goal record watch. So I want to touch on that every week just to give everybody an update. And the last thing that we're going to talk about is personal pickups for the week. So I hope you guys are ready. Class is about to begin, and we're starting it off with some market thoughts. And some of the stuff I've been really thinking about this week, and what I don't know, I feel like I'm really excited to be a part of the hockey card community, but I don't think it's as big as it could be. And I also think that is for sports cards in general. That there's a lot of talk around the people who make the products about growing the hobby, and really the hobby's not going to grow unless you have a couple things. You have the people who are in the hobby who promote it and want it to grow, and the other thing is you got to bring new people in. So I've given some thought as to how can we as collectors contribute to the growth of the hobby. And when the hobby grows, the demand gets higher. Maybe you pay a little more for cards, but in my opinion, that's okay, because part of me enjoying the hobby is getting to watch other people get excited about how they collect or what they collect. So it's not all just it's selfish, but it's not selfish, because selfishly I collect how I collect. I have ways that I enjoy collecting. I have cards that I buy, things that I'm looking for. But I guess that's the selfish side. But really, I also consume a ton of content. I like watching other people get excited about what they collect. And I like to see what other people are collecting, because as a collector, those things stick in my head. A good example is following the Hockey Cards Gong Show podcast. These guys are so immersed, and especially in the Discord, everybody likes different things, but it exposes you to other things that maybe you didn't even know were out there, that give the opportunity to like those as well. So not only do you get to enjoy it as somebody else is collecting it, but it might open your eyes to something new that you might like to collect. And a couple of the things that I've been thinking about was that sorry, I'm not really I'm more of a collector than I am a seller, but I also have lots of cards that I believe would be better off in other people's collections. So I don't look at myself as like a reseller or anything like that, but I am also willing to part ways with cards. And that's only because I want people to get those cards into their hands. And one of the ways that I like to do that is we have a little local show that they do out here like once or twice a month. And when I have the opportunity, when I'm not busy coaching or whatever, I like to sign up as a vendor at the show. And I always bring stuff that I'm willing to let go for people to buy. But one of the things I can say is I've never made money at the show. And I don't know if it's just because the stuff that I have people don't want, or if it is, I think a lot of it has to do with the lack of volume of people collecting showing up to the show. But I do always buy a table when I can. I set up, and one of the things I enjoy about it is inevitably somebody will bring cards that they're looking to get rid of. So maybe they're not looking to buy, but maybe they're looking to get rid of. And as a collector, that's perfect for me, because here I am sitting at this show that I paid money, $25, $50, whatever, for a table. But people bring cards to me that I get to look at, and it takes me down memory lane. And then it also gives me an opportunity if there's something that they have that I want to buy. I haven't had a show that I've done yet. Like I said, I haven't made money, but I also have not. I've left the show with new cards, because I buy cards when people bring them to me. Do I buy them all? No, but I've picked up a couple of pretty cool cards. I picked up the Cal Ripken F-Face Air from a guy who brought it up to my table. And I also picked up a 1954 Topps Ted Williams card that I didn't have. So, and those were at separate shows. So, I might sit out there all day or even all weekend, not selling a whole bunch of stuff, but I get the opportunity to see other people's stuff and maybe even purchase them. And I think that's kind of important, because I know certain people get into the hobby to make money. You know, there's people in the card manufacturing business, the grading business, and it's their living, and that's how they pay their bills. And I'm perfectly 100% okay with that. But for me, when I started collecting cards when I was 7 years old, 8 years old, I had never thought about um, any card I got that I wanted, how much it was going to be worth, or how much could I sell it to somebody for. I collected them because I love them. And really, we need to instill. We can't do it. It has to just be there, or it's not. But we have to expose people to that, even if it means losing $50 here or there. Because I can tell you, there's lots of people who come to my table who look at stuff, who get excited about stuff, and then they start asking about stuff, and then you get to share knowledge with them. And so I think that is a vital part of ways that we can contribute, even if it's something small like that. I don't know how much of a contribution I actually make to the collecting community, but I honestly think that we need, the onus is on us to put ourselves out there, maybe even outside of our comfort zone a little bit, and share what we have with people. Does that mean we have to give stuff away? No. Does that mean that we have to, if we're going to sell something, we have to sell it for dirt cheap? No. But I can tell you that as you get stuff in, if you want to see a smile on somebody's face, or you want to see something else, giving them something or giving them a discount because you know it's something that they really want to have, that's a good feeling. And that's how you grow the hobby. So just something to keep in mind moving forward. That's how I wanted to start the show, just thinking about how we could make it a better space, you know, especially for hockey, because I have not been to any small show where people have hockey. I'm in West Texas, I get it, but from what I hear, it's not it's not a here problem. It's a around everywhere problem. People always are asking in the Gong Show Discord, how much hockey was at this show? How much? And you know, you get the standard answer: 2 tables or 2 or 3 vendors. And if we want more, we have to kind of maybe put ourselves out there a little bit more and go that route. I think that's the only way to do it. So like from now on, when I do shows, I'm gonna bring hockey cards. Something that I wouldn't do normally because I'm in Texas, so it's like football and baseball, and hockey's like my own little thing, and it's not like I'm not ashamed. It's just I think that we need to kind of put it out there. Hey, yeah, we do hockey here too. So I don't know. That's just my thoughts on that. And now we're going to move into point number 2: 600 goal score history. I had a lot of fun with this this week. Last week I talked about Brett Hull, and I ended up winning that card. I don't have it yet, so it's not on my pickup list. It should probably be here sometime this week. I can list it probably next week on next week's show. So one of the things I wanted to do was go back maybe, and like I said, last week I started with 1, now I have 3. So I went to the one that I do have, Teemu Selanne, and I dug up some information on Teemu that I wanted to share with you guys, and that's the joy I get from the hobby, I guess. I have his Young Guns card, so I have one of the 600 goal scorers, and I wanted to go with him because I already have the card, so it gives me an opportunity to talk about some of his significant stuff. So Teemu Selanne scored 684 goals, and he had 773 assists for a total of 1,457 points in his career. He is a plus 95 rating at the time of his retirement, and he is 18th on the all-time points list. He scored his 600th goal on March 21st, 2010, in a 5-2 win over the Colorado Avalanche. As I did some digging on that, I found out that Teemu Selanne's 100th, 200th, 300th, and 400th goal, along with his 600th goal, were all in winning efforts for his team. So when he scored 100, 200, 300, 400, and 600, they won. His 500th goal also came against the Colorado Avalanche. So he scored number 500 against Colorado, scored number 600 against Colorado. The team lost, but they lost in overtime. So at the end of regulation, they were tied. So they did get a point. So technically, anytime he hit a milestone 100 goals, he never lost a game, which I thought was pretty cool. And then started looking into his career. So Teemu Selanne did some crazy stuff, especially early on. Okay, he was 1992-93 rookie. So he was a rookie in the 92-93 season. He did win the Calder Trophy, and he was playing for the Winnipeg Jets. So he was drafted by Winnipeg. He was playing for Winnipeg, and that rookie season was insane. So he holds the rookie record with 76 goals. He scored 76 goals his rookie year. And we get excited when rookies score 30 or 40 now. So Selanne scored 76 goals his rookie year. And so he holds the record for that. It was previously held by Mike Bossy, who the record was at 53. So he didn't just pass the record, he crushed it. So Mike Bossy held the record for goals by a rookie in a season with 53. Teemu Selanne comes along, the Finnish Flash, right? That's his nickname. Comes along in 92-93 and scores 76 goals. So basically he scored a whole nother third more than what Mike Bossy had done. And then he also holds the rookie record for points. So anytime you score 76 goals, you're probably going to get quite a few assists to go along with that. And that season, he scored 132 points. And so the previous rookie points record was held by Peter Stastny with 109. So he outpaced that by more than 20 points. So he outpaced the goal record by more than 20 goals, and he outpaced the points record by more than 20 points. And one of the cool things that I did learn about Teemu Selanne and being a 600 goal scorer is that he's one of only three players have ever won the Calder Trophy and then went on to score 600 goals. So usually the guys who win the Calder don't end up being huge points guys. I'm sure that might change with some of the guys we have now. However, one of three players currently to score 600 goals and win the Calder Trophy, and the other two guys are Luc Robitaille and Mario Lemieux. So he's in really good company there. So I hope you guys enjoyed that, the 600 goal scorer history. I had a ton of fun digging up those stats, and like I said, I already have the card, so it's all good for me. Like, that's why I wanted to do it, because I already had the card. If I did it on somebody else, I'd probably be trying to buy their card right now, or maybe have already bought their card like I did last week with Brett Hull, and I did buy his card. I won the auction. Crazy. We'll talk about that when it comes in, but less than $20 PSA 8 Brett Hull rookie card. Can't beat it. That's one thing that I do love about the hobby, is that certain people don't have very strong markets and they're collectible, but I mean, we're talking about top 20 point getter in the history of the NHL, a top 20 goal scorer in the history of the NHL, one of only 21 people currently who's got 600 goals, and I bought a PSA 8 rookie card of his for like $17. So pretty insane. Now we're going to move into our third portion of the show. The thing that's been my baby for a couple years, that really started having me trend into hockey, is the Blue Liner of the Week. And I love doing this because it ties me into what's going on presently, and sometimes new stuff happens. Like this week, there were 4 players tied with 5 points, and I pulled stats from January 5th through January 11th, 1 week of games, and there were 4 guys for 5 points. However, my Blue Liner of the Week, I have to have 2. So, how did I decide of the 4 guys who scored 5 points, which to go with? Well, the first guy was pretty easy because he scored 5 points in 3 games, and the other 3 guys scored 5 points in 4 games. So, that guy I took, and then the second guy I looked at defensive stats. So, not only did he have 5 points, but he had the highest defensive stats for the week. So that's how I came to my top pairing, my top 2 blue liners. So number 1 is Quinn Hughes of the Vancouver Canucks. He is no stranger to this list. This is the 3rd or 4th time since I've been doing blue liner of the week that he's been on it. 2018 first round pick, 7th pick overall by the Vancouver Canucks. He's got 2 brothers who play, and I think I talked about him a couple episodes ago. He's probably the number 2 defenseman in the NHL, widely considered probably number 2, easy. Like I said, this week he scored 5 points, 1 goal, 4 assists. He was credited with no hits, but he had 9 block shots, so that's a pretty good number. And he's in the last week, he averaged 26 minutes and 31 seconds of ice time. So his time on ice per game, 26:31. Looking into Quinn Hughes' Young Guns card, 2018-2019 Upper Deck Series 1, card number 249. Since the last time he was on the list, the numbers have changed. So that's kind of cool too. So currently his PSA 10 for the last 90 days is averaging $173 per sale. He had 83 sales in the last 90 days. And if I can pull up his stuff real quick. I meant to look this up. Oh, I don't have it here. I like to talk about when their last sale was. I didn't mark it down. I did mention that he has 83 sales over the last 90 days. That's almost a card a day at $173 average per card. He has 5,174 cards now graded with PSA, with 3,244 of them coming back PSA 10s and 1,657 of those cards coming back PSA 9s. And the gem rate on his card is still good at 62.7%. So his numbers went up by a few hundred since the last time he was on the list, and he's still sitting at a 62.7 gem rate. So he's our first blue liner of the week. He's the one I went with who had the best defensive stats. The one player who had 5 points in 3 games, he's number 2, and he's a new guy because he's a rookie, and it's Lane Hudson, who's quickly becoming super popular in the hobby, and his sports card prices are reflecting that. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that he's in Montreal playing. I mean, their hobby market is strong. They're an original 6 team, but also has to do with the fact that the quality control on 24-25 Upper Deck was horrible, and his gem rate is super low. So Lane Hudson of the Montreal Canadiens, 2022 second round pick, 62nd overall. So that's pretty cool. He's not a first rounder. He's a second rounder. He was taken 62nd overall. So he was taken at the back of the second round. He was almost a third round pick. 5 points, 1 goal, 4 assists, no hits, and 4 block shots. And he's already, as a rookie, averaging 24 minutes and 48 seconds time on ice per game. Like I said, he's a 24-25 Upper Deck Series 1 Young Guns, card number 229. So this card just came out in the last few months, okay? These are pretty good numbers, and his stuff is, I mean, I don't know how to measure it. I'm not trying to give financial advice. I just like talking cards. I like talking hockey. I like talking all that good stuff. But his PSA 10 currently is averaging $414 per sale. And it's not a small sample size. He's had 22 sales in the last 90 days. And if you think about it, these cards recently came out, which means people had to pull them, submit them to PSA, and then come back. So we're probably on, like, I would say in the last 90 days is probably when these cards even started coming back. So 22 PSA 10 sales in the last 90 days, averaging $414 per sale. However, he already has 447 cards graded with PSA, but only 148 of them are PSA 10s, while 195 of them are PSA 9s. So his gem rate is super low. It's like 1 out of every 3 cards. It's 33.1%. So that's actually even less than 1 out of every 3, because 1 out of every 3 would be 33.33333. So it's a little below that, which I think has a lot to do with the fact that he's a new kid on the block. He's playing in Montreal. He's putting up good numbers for a rookie. So it's kind of like the perfect storm. Like, the cards just came out, so the pop is low, and then the gem rate is low. So PSA 10s are getting tough to get, especially of Lane Hudson, when you got Quinn Hughes, who's been doing it for a while, and he's not even half that price. So, and like I said, Quinn Hughes is probably the second best defenseman behind Cale Makar in the NHL. So that's Blue Liner of the Week. Hope you guys enjoyed that. We're moving on to the Milestone Marker portion of this podcast, of this episode. This is something new, but I kind of wanted to talk about it just because I happened to be watching the game, and it just kind of triggered some stuff, and I thought it was worth talking about. Anytime somebody does something for a really long time, it's worth noting. I mean, I know they get talk on ESPN or NHL Network or something like that, but let's be honest, we do watch that stuff, but I also consume this content, so I want to hear other people talk about it. And that's one of the things that I wanted to incorporate into my podcast. So the Milestone Marker portion, I wanted to talk about Cam Fowler playing in his 1,000th game in the NHL, getting the silver stick. Was pretty cool. I did not see the game that he played his 1,000th game, because I happened to be in Dallas watching a Dallas Stars game. But I did see the game where they commemorated it all, and that's what I wanted to talk about. So Cam Fowler was originally drafted in 2010, first round, 12th overall by the Anaheim Ducks. And he played 991 games with the Anaheim Ducks. And then they traded him right before he got to his 1,000th game to the St. Louis Blues, which is crazy. Like, the dude was an icon in Anaheim, and they moved him 9 games before game number 1,000. But it didn't disappoint, because Cam Fowler ended up playing his 1,000th game on New Year's Eve, so December 31st, 2024, in the Winter Classic. So he ended up being the first he ended up being the first NHL player to play their 1,000th game in an outdoor venue. In the Winter Classic, I know the Winter Classic just started, but they also do like the Stadium Series, stuff like that. He's the first NHL player to play his 1,000th game in an outdoor venue. And not only did that happen, the Blues won 6-2 over the Chicago Blackhawks at Wrigley Field. So they did it against Connor Bedard. He's out there in his 1,000th game. The dude doesn't score a ton of points. He's not even really a half a point per game player in his career. He's at like 446 points with over 1,000 games played now. And he scores 2 goals. So not only is he playing in his 1,000th game, he scores 2 goals in his 1,000th game. And he's playing outdoors at Wrigley Field. It's just, I mean, for him, it was a good night, right? And I think it's just a feel-good story for anybody who likes hockey. It's pretty cool. So to get to 1,000 games, 991 games with the Ducks, 9 games with the St. Louis Blues. As far as the Ducks goes, he's second in the franchise in games played, behind Ryan Getzlaf. Getzlaf has more games in a Ducks jersey than Cam Fowler. Cam Fowler's number 2. So I talked about his draft spot. Something else I found interesting about Cam Fowler. With the Blues, he's wearing number 17, but with the Ducks, his whole career, he wore number 4. Why number 4? Because Bobby Orr was his dad's favorite player, and to honor his dad, he picked number 4 with the Ducks because that was Bobby Orr's number. So pretty cool. That's why he wore number 4. Makes you want to root for a guy like that. He's doing things for other people, not just to be selfish. In his career, he's just eclipsed the 100 goal mark with 366 assists, so he's at 466 points. Like I said, he's just under a half a point per game, which isn't horrible. He's a defenseman. But let's talk about his card. 2010-2011, Upper Deck Series 1, card number 201. So he was the first Young Guns card in the series. He does not get any hobby love. He's had one sale of a PSA 10 in the last 90 days, and it sold for less than $21. He only has 63 Young Guns graded with PSA. 47 of them are PSA 10s, 12 are PSA 9s. So it's still a 74.6% gem rate, but it's a really small size. I mean, there's not even 100 cards graded. So, sorry guys, I'm flipping through my notes, and I'm having a blast recording it this way. I'm going to upload the video on my YouTube channel, and then I'm going to convert it to a audio file for my podcast. So this is the first time I've done it. Hopefully it works. I hope I'm doing a great job. Hopefully you guys are enjoying it. We're moving on to number 5, a section I called Chasing Greatness with the number 8. It's all about Alex Ovechkin. I've been monitoring him closely, and look, you know, I know that we're adults, we're kids, we're busy, right? So we can't all just sit down and watch every Ovechkin game. I guess you could watch replays if you wanted to, but everybody knows it's not the same as watching it live. So I wanted to start a weekly thing until I think we should do this till I think I should do this till he retires, but I want to do a weekly thing about his goals. So that's just one way for the busy man or woman to keep up with what's going on with Alex Ovechkin. So he's chasing Gretzky. That's why I called it Chasing Greatness. As most of you may know, maybe you don't know, Gretzky has scored 894 goals in his career at the time that he retired. So he's the goal scoring king when it comes to hockey. That's why he's called the Great One, right? He is the best player I've ever seen play. But we also have been blessed with getting to see Alex Ovechkin play hockey in my same lifetime, and I'm about to be 42. So there's a few things I'm just going to touch on. I just want to kind of touch on it every week. Don't have to go super in depth, but Ovechkin scored one goal this week. It was scored on January 11th, so it was scored on Saturday, January 11th, 2025. It was a empty net goal at the end of the game. The Capitals were already winning, and he picked the puck off. I actually had it on my phone. I saw it when I heard they said something like Ovechkin on the breakaway, and I look up and he's skating to the empty net with the puck, and he just put it in there. So that brings his goal total to 873 goals in his career, and he is currently 21 goals behind Gretzky. Gretzky at 894. He needs 21 goals to tie, but he only scored one goal this week, so kind of disappointing, especially at the pace that he's been scoring goals this year. It's been crazy, and I've already kind of planned on next week doing 600 goal score history. No, I'm not going to do it there. I'm going to do it under Milestone Marker, because Ovechkin did hit a milestone yesterday. So I want to talk about that, especially since we're going to follow him on a weekly basis and give everybody an update on what he's been doing. So that's pretty much a wrap on the show, guys, except for talking about the cards I picked up this week. So the first card I want to talk about that came in, it's a 2020 Jake Ottinger Young Gun PSA 9. If you don't know, I prefer collecting PSA 9s. I don't mind getting cards raw and sending them to PSA. That's something we're going to talk about next week too, some grading stuff, because it seems to be a hot topic, especially in the Gong Show community with the Hockey Cards Gong Show guys. Some guys hate grading, some guys love raw, and I've been tossing around some ideas in my head of thinking about grading. I personally like the graded cards just because of I think about who's going to own this card 100 years from now, and if it's a graded card, it's going to be much more well protected, meaning that there's a higher probability that that card will get to somebody 100 years from now in a better condition or in good condition, less chances for bad things to happen to it. That's why I don't really care about if it's a PSA 10. I don't really care if it's an 8, 9, 6, 5, especially the older cards. Don't care. I do care about certain things on cards, but it doesn't matter if they're graded or not. I don't mind sending them to get graded and then adding them to my collection. So 2020 Ottinger Young Gun PSA 9. And then I picked up some 2324 OPG Platinum. I love that product, guys. If you haven't got any, you should get some. I don't know if you need to open it yourself because you like to do that, or if you just want to buy singles, which is kind of what I prefer. Even though I'll buy blasters and stuff from time to time, I don't mind doing that. But I picked up a Connor Hellebuck, a Cale Makar, a Leo Carlson, which is a rookie card, and a Nathan McKinnon liquid metals. The liquid metals are numbered out of 399 in OPG Platinum. So all of those cards are numbered out of 399, and I picked them up for a couple bucks a piece, except for the Carlson because it's a rookie liquid metal. It was like, I don't know, a little over 10 bucks. Nothing crazy. And I also picked up a Connor Hellebuck Arctic Freeze, which Arctic Freeze and OPG Platinum are out of 99. So I have some pictures. You guys will be able to see that. And the last thing I want to talk about, guys, is if you like the layout, one of the things that I did notice, and I'm not complaining because I enjoy doing this, is that the amount of money I spend on just supporting the stuff that I do, right? So I spend money for how do I get my numbers and my stats? Well, I have a subscription to Market Movers. I have a subscription to Card Ladder. How do I get my stuff out to people? Well, you have to, if you want to have a podcast on Apple, you have to pay money every year for that. I also pay for a podcast streaming service where I can download my stuff there and it distributes it out. So all of these things cost money, production time, all of that. And that's before I buy cards or do any of that stuff. And I'm happy to do it. But because I am committed to doing this moving forward, if you look around the screen the way I set it up, there's lots of real estate there, guys. I have no sponsors. If you're interested in sponsoring the show, please reach out to me. All of my stuff right there. I put my email right on the bottom. Go ahead and look. Reach out. If you want to talk about 600 goal score history, if there's something you want to see me discuss or research or whatever, email me. oldschoolcards24@gmail.com. My name is Josh. This is my podcast. This is my show. This is my YouTube. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. It helps the algorithm so that way more people will see it. If you're enjoying it, I hope you guys are enjoying it. But I am starting to consider being open to sponsors just because I was looking at how much I was spending for that stuff. And let's be honest, I pay for an Adobe subscription that I do just for my content and stuff. So it's not for, I don't use it for anything else. It's all for my stuff, and it's kind of low budget. I'm not very good at it, but I try to be creative, and I hope you guys enjoy it. So I hope you guys like the layout of this video podcast. I hope it works out well. But if you're interested in sponsoring the content, please reach out to me. We can talk, and I can guarantee you I will be talking about you in every single thing I do, because I talk about the guys that I pay for a Hockey Cards Gong Show Patreon subscription, and I talk about them like they're paying me, but I love them. That's why, So that's another thing. Just so you know, it's not just an open invitation for that type of stuff. We have to we have to see eye to eye on a few things, and I don't want. I'm not gonna take sponsorship stuff from people that maybe I would say that I don't believe in the product or something like that. So I want to be. I want to help people who help me, but I also am just. I'm not saying that I'm for sale. I guess that's the best way to do it. I'm actively looking for sponsors, and I'm open to that, but I'm not going to be on here promoting whiskey or something, because I want my people who consume my content to not be feel like they have to go drink whiskey or whatever, because I know some people struggle with those types of things, and I don't want to be that person that feeds into that for somebody else. So I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast, guys. It's been a lot of fun. Hope you like the intro. And until next time, guys, keep collecting what you love. I'm Josh, and I'll see you next week.